Now let's talk for a minute about some of what this is. I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to remove these, and I'm going to run the code so that I get a blank canvas. I want to show you something. So I am plotting a point at 3, 2. So you can see that. It might be a little bit hard to see because we don't see the grid lines. So let's draw the grid lines. I'm going to call this function up here draw grid lines so that we can kind of see what's going on. So we have some weird stuff going on over here, but the important thing to notice is that this is the origin, and the point 3, 2 is actually 3 units to the right and 2 units down. Now, if you remember from math class, that's not exactly what we are used to when it comes to graphing points. And the reason is that p5js uses a different coordinate system. With the default p5js coordinate system, the point 3, 2 is right here. That's 3 to the right and 2 down. But in math, we're used to this being 3 to the right on the x-axis and 2 up. And the reason is that for p5js, x is positive to the right, y is positive down, and the origin is at the top left corner of the canvas. There are reasons why we might want to instead put the origin at the center of the canvas, just like we have it in math class, so that the graphing works the same way that it did in math class. So this is the reason that I've introduced this other function, setUpStandardAxes. And what this function does is it actually makes it so that it translates, it moves the origin to halfway in the x direction for x, and then halfway down in the y direction for y. And then it flips the axes around so that we don't have that weird thing happening with the y direction being down. Normally, x is positive to the right and y is positive upwards. And so by having this function here, setUpStandardAxes, it takes care of that for me. So let's introduce this into the code. So now you can see that by running this code and drawing a circle at the point 3, 2, it's now putting it in the point we would expect following math class. And so that's going to be really, really useful. And just because I want to connect this to some other things we've learned in this class, this setUpStandardAxes function kind of abstracts away that process of dealing with an origin that's in the top left-hand corner. It means we don't have to worry about that. We call this function and it just moves everything around so that the center of the canvas is the point 0, 0, and the x-axis and the y-axis are what we expect. So with all that set up, I just want to show that if I turn off draw grid lines, that point stays exactly where it is, but we no longer have the origin and the grid lines. In this next video, we're going to use this coordinate system to help us make some really cool art using p5js. See you there.